Okay, so I loved Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah!
Now let's talk about Intergrade or Intermission. Here is your spoiler warning. Gonna be really getting into the good stuff.
That's how ninjas do it.
Yep.
Intermission is a DLC or mini expansion, covering what our ninja materia hunter was supposedly up to before we meet her in the original Final Fantasy VII.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Overall, I quite liked Intermission. Yuffie has some pretty awesome combat mechanics.
How the tables have turned.
I've been completely addicted to the Fort Condor minigame,
I'm always ready for a round of Fort Condor!
and I've got some nitpicks as well, mainly the inclusion of Deepground.
Deep ground.
But I'll get into that later. Okay, Intermission is Yuffie's story. In the original Final Fantasy VII, Yuffie is a completely optional party member, and your first opportunity to recruit Yuffie is in the forests just outside of Sonon, which is a little bit after the events of Midgar.
The one and only Yuffie!
Intermission takes place during the early events of Final Fantasy VII. You get to see some new perspectives. Ever wondered what Tifa and Barrett were up to once they were separated from Cloud?
Now, can we talk about President Shithead?
The whole intermission actually syncs up nicely with events and explains why we find Yuffie in those forests in Final Fantasy VII. Yuffie has come to Midgar on a mission to steal Shinra's ultimate materia. You're accompanied by an entirely new character, Sonon.
Anyway, it's nice to meet you. I'm Sonon Kusakabe.
Sonon has lost his little sister, and he ends up as almost a big brother looking after Yuffie. And despite being a completely new character, I came to like Sonon. At some point he mentions that he's been trained by Yuffie's father. A little sneak peek and possibly setting up Yuffie's future arc with Godor, where she fights the 5 gods of Wutai.
I was lucky enough to learn how to fight from good.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about him.
So is this Yuffie legit? Well, I have only one test or requirement, and that is, does Yuffie get motion sick like in the originals?
Gonna be sick?
Yes, motion sickness induced by a train this time. Yuffie is legit. Quickie, really want to level up my subscriber count because that's going to unlock early review copies of games. Would have loved to have gotten an early review copy of Rebirth, and I am going to be going Final Fantasy VII crazy with Rebirth right around the corner. Thank you.
I'm always ready for a round of Fort Condor!
Hands down, my favourite feature of Intermission is the Fort Condor minigame.
Fort Condor?
Okay, so in the original, Fort Condor was a real-time strategy minigame. You use your guild to hire mercenaries to defend Fort Condor. It's a little janky and I don't think many people cared for it. I think I enjoyed it more than most people. Intermission introduces the minigame a bit earlier than in the original, as a lane-based board game.
Round of Fort Condor?
That said, we may still get the true Fort Condor in Rebirth, but we'll have to see. A lot of fun, awesome art assets in the original Final Fantasy VII chibi art style. Lots of rewards to unlock, and you'll have to customize your deck of units to tackle different characters' strengths and weaknesses. Huge thumbs up from me.
Aw, thanks, bro.
Love it, and to be honest, I wish Final Fantasy XVI had something like this. I think it would really help with the slower pace moments when you're chilling out in your hideaway doing fetch quests.
Oh, we're not here for that.
So this mini expansion is broken down into 2 chapters. We don't get to see much in terms of new locations, but you'll crawl through the slums, rescue an Avalanche member while navigating a Shinra mech factory, and then storm the Shinra building in the hunt for that ultimate materia.
Is that so?
Locations are a little bit lackluster, but it's the combat where Intermission really shines through, and we get a sneak peek of some of the new mechanics coming in Rebirth.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
So you'll exclusively play Yuffie, with Sonon taking an automatic supportive role, but you can still give him commands and equip him with materia. Sonon makes for a pretty solid support. He'll even sacrifice himself to bring you out of a KO.
Careful, boss.
What? You're gonna make me do all the work?
In fact, there's some new materia, like the Ninja Cannonball command materia,
Sicko, loyal minion!
and the Ramu summon materia. So, like Cloud, Yuffie has 2 modes of play. Melee attacks with her shuriken, and after you throw her shuriken, you can enter a ninjutsu range mode that can be empowered with an element of your choosing. It gets pretty in-depth. While your shuriken is attached to your enemies, it'll also empower your abilities. Just like in Remake, there's a minigame where you have to destroy boxes within a time limit, and it made me realise just how insane Yuffie is. This really requires mastery over Yuffie's mechanics to fully complete. There's a new synergy mode you can activate with L2, you'll synergize with Sonon, and use both characters' ATB bars to supercharge Yuffie's abilities. Pretty awesome, and that's something we're going to see fully fleshed out with different characters in Rebirth.
Gotcha!
So throughout the story we clash with a few new bosses. Pretty cool Centipede mech, and Shinra Scarlet, who ends up testing her prototype mechs before awakening Deepground and letting Nero out on us. Now, I've got to be 100% honest, I love Final Fantasy VII's story, but I'm not so keen on a lot of the extended lore that came with the spin-off games.
How dare you?
Originally, Deepground didn't appear until Dirge of Cerberus, many years after Final Fantasy VII, but I will admit, Square Enix are kind of doing a better job with a lot of these characters this time around.
Now then, where were we?
These villains are getting built up much earlier on, and we're getting invested. The Nero boss fight is pretty great, and we want revenge after Nero slaughters and captures Sonon, and we have to watch a distraught Yuffie fleeing from Midgar with Sector 7's plate falling down, and everything connecting up with Final Fantasy VII. That's not all Intermission adds. If we go back to Final Fantasy VII Remake, there's a new optional super boss, Weiss from Dirge of Cerberus.
Let the hunt begin!
He's really tough and reminds me of learning how to beat the Sephiroth super bosses in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. This guy will just slaughter the party if you take too long. It is brutal, but you'll get a little sneak peek of Hojo's plans that originally take fruition in Dirge of Cerberus. But all that may happen a lot earlier this time. One theory I've got is that later down the line, we're going to get Intergrade 2 and 3, with Vincent, Yuffie, and maybe Cat Shi. I predict we're going to be cleaning up Midgar of Deepground, with the captured Sonon added to their ranks. Intergrade also provides an extended ending to Final Fantasy VII Remake, with Zack returning to Era of 70 Church, which leaves me with loads of questions and even more theory crafting.
I'm back!
So overall, I am happy with Intergrade or Intermission, but I'm always weary of them stepping into new territory with Final Fantasy VII. While this is all new stuff, it's pretty good, and I believe there's been meticulous planning in making sure it all fits in and connects up with Final Fantasy VII. Yuffie's combat gameplay is great, the 3 new bosses are great, and Fort Condor rocks my socks off. What do you think of Intermission? Let me know in the comments, and peace for now.